Hi, you're probably here because you're a mom who's thinking that starting a kids run club might be the answer to all your mompreneur dreams. And you'll probably wonder how on earth are moms actually using the pandemic to fuel their growth. And I know, you promised yourself you weren't going to watch another webinar or sign up for yet another thing. So I'm going to make sure that this gives you what you've been looking for: value and information that you need to get out there and do it yourself if that's what you want. And here's the disclaimer. What I'm going to share with you is so simple and takes so little time, and it's so freaking doable that you're probably going to be tempted to think, nah, there's no way this can't possibly work. I know, I see you. This pandemic has made life so much more complicated that things that are simple seem way too crazy right now. This class is going to take up between 40 to 45 minutes, so grab a pen and paper because you're going to want to take notes. What I'm going to share with you today, it's not only relevant if you want to start a kids run club, which is what I help moms do, but really if you want to start any business at all. So we're going to start by taking a simple assessment and answer either with a yes or a no to the following questions that I'm going to give you. So grab a piece of paper and just jot down why you're in. We'll tally your score at the end. This is not to be complicated. Are you ready? Okay. Do you feel like you're spread too thin, like distracted and overwhelmed, like you're busy all the time, but you still don't have time to do anything? So write a yes or a no. With the shutdown, did you realize how much of your kids' lives you were missing while you were at work? And you wonder, why are you spending all your time and energy working for somebody else to make them money? Or is it the opposite, that becoming an overnight homeschool mom showed you the need to have goals for yourself? Do you feel like you're running in last place, that everyone's needs have to be taken care of first and it's leaving you depleted? And does it feel like you're failing? That experts tell you about routines and physical activity and diet, but you struggle to maintain one at home for your kids and much less for yourself? Do you worry about bills and how growing kids come with growing expenses and how you're going to meet those needs? Are you frustrated, thinking that you are a smart and educated woman? Surely there's something you can do to help with those bills, but what? Do you get excited seeing work from home opportunities only to find out it's yet another scam? Or do you want to start a business but think, no way, I'm not a business major. I don't know how to do this. I can't do this. Have you ever felt selfish for wanting something for yourself? Deep down, are you beginning to suspect that you're not the mom that you thought you were going to be? Or even worse, you find yourself repeating the same mistakes that your own parents made and that you promised yourself that you'd be different when you were a mom? If you've got more than 3 yeses on your paper, then I've got good news and better news. The good news is that none of these are the real issue, and therefore you don't have to fix each and every one of them individually. The real issue is that you haven't made what I call the shifts. And the better news is that I'm going to help you to go deeper to where all these seemingly separate problems originate so that you can fix the root cause through these shifts. My promise to you is that I'm going to show you how you can have the health, the money, the family life you want without having to lose your mind or sacrifice your family in the process. But to get there, you're going to need to make these shifts. And I'm going to go through them. There's 6 of them in detail. But before that, let me just take a second here and introduce myself. I'm Christina Ramirez. I've gone from Wall Street to Sesame Street and from the couch to Ironman triathlons. As an entrepreneur, I put all these experiences together, and I've been empowering moms and kids over the last 13 years to redefine what's possible. I've been featured at Today.com, the Miami Herald, the Huffington Post, and I've been selected by Nestle for a national television campaign that highlights my work, and by Keep for my entrepreneurial mission. And I've won several national awards, including the 3M Positive Impact Award. What I'm about to share with you is what I've distilled over the past 13 years of helping moms and children move from a fixed to a growth mindset at home, in school, and on the field. Over the past 6 years, I've been developing this children's run club and our curriculum. I've worked with hundreds of kids and I've expanded it with moms from across the country. And it's in this work that I came to see patterns and trends with the moms that I was talking to on the phone, those that wanted to start a business but eventually didn't, and those who joined our program and were successful at it. That's where these shifts come from real experience. So let's get to them right now. The first shift is to reframe risk. I'm going to put this on the table right here at the outset. Every business requires an investment, and every investment has a risk. There's no way around it. So investing in the right business, the one that brings you the success in all the places that you want, it's essential. Because what is the point of investing in a business that would require you to travel 50% of the time if what you really want is to be with your family? Or what's the point of doing something that you're super passionate about, but it doesn't bring you the income that you need? It doesn't make sense, right? But this notion of risk has held back so many moms from starting their businesses because what if you invest in yourself and then it doesn't work? Or what if you fail? And then they go back to the quote unquote safety of, again, a quote unquote real job. So let's think about this for a second. Life is intrinsically a risky business. Everything that we do has a risk. Every time we cross the street, we can get hit by a car or we can get into a car accident. And every time our kid goes to the playground, they can get hurt. And now in pandemic times, risk is everywhere. Even when we were in lockdown, someone had to go to the store to buy food. That's a risk that you had to take, and you mitigate it by taking certain actions like washing your hands or going when it's not so crowded. But we accept those risks because we're used to it. We need to accept them if we want to live. I mean, you have to eat, don't you? So what I have found in talking to hundreds of moms is that this conversation, it's not so much about risk as it is about something deeper. It's about permission. Permission to go for your dream, even if there is uncertainty. Permission to invest in yourself and put yourself in the front instead of meeting everyone else's needs first. We women are often raised to equate motherhood with sacrifice, and all that does is to keep us stuck and resentful. And I'll get to that in our next shift. But for right now, shift one is moving from seeing risk as something that is terrible, that you just can't put your family through, to understanding that risk is just a part of life. So instead of telling yourself, what if it doesn't work? Assume that there is risk involved, just as there is risk when you let your kid go to the playground, but you still give them permission to go, don't you? A great example of someone who understood this concept of inherent risk and gave herself permission to go for her dream is my client Christina in Florida. She was a single mom. She had a full-time job that she hated, and it kept her so busy she missed out on life with her 3 kids. Not only that, but work called at all times of day and night and took so much of her energy, she barely had anything left to take care of herself. Christina knew that she was sacrificing her health, her kids, her life for a company that would lay her off at the speed of the next recession. She was giving up all of this for what? To make somebody else rich? No. She gave herself permission to invest in herself. And today, Christina's Run Club is present in every single middle and elementary school in her county. That's hundreds of kids that she reaches quarterly. Christina was able to replace the income of that job with something that she enjoyed, that was good for her and for her family. Can you imagine if Christina wouldn't have given herself permission to invest in herself because she's a single mom, because there was that risk? She would have still been stuck in that job, unhappy, unhealthy, and definitely not being the role model that she currently is for her own kids, as well as for all the kids that she reaches in her program. And that brings us to shift number 2, which is don't hide behind your kids. Every mom I know, myself included, we use our kids as convenient shields. Sometimes it's to get out of a boring dinner. Oh, I don't have a babysitter. Or it's the reason we are late to an appointment. But sometimes we use our kids as an excuse to stay in our comfort zones. And that's different. That sounds more like, what if I start my business but my little Lucas gets sick? Or I can't start an after school program or go to the gym because Sophie has soccer. Or Natasha needs new braces, so I can't invest in myself. But if you stay in this mode, you're actually hurting those you love the most because you will be growing a resentment. It's not something that we do on purpose. It's not conscious, but it comes out because you are telling yourself you cannot do whatever, XYZ, because of your kids. So they are holding you back, and you're going to release that anger, that resentment in a million small ways. And they sound like, are you really asking me for that? Can I at least get some help here? Who do you think I am? Or even worse, who do you think you are? And of course, then we feel like crap because we love our children. And when we feel like crap, then comes the guilt. And when we have guilt, then we put ourselves last again. And if we put ourselves last again, then we resent our kids all over again and on and on. It's a cycle. So instead, look at your kids for inspiration. Don't view them as the blocks between you and your goal. View them like the propeller, the reason why you go for it. Kids watch everything that you do. So let them see you be brave and take chances and believe in yourself and go for what you want. Following your dreams makes you the better mom, makes you the role model that your children need. A great example of this is my client Tiffany from Nebraska. She's a mom of 4 boys, so talk about having plenty of shields and reasons to hide behind. And when I met Tiffany, she was doing multiple things. She was a group fitness instructor, a blogger. She kind of had this cross your finger approach to making an income. She wanted to start a business, but she thought there was no way that she could because she has 4 boys. But she decided to invest in her dreams and she started her children's run club. That doesn't mean that she put her kids last, like at all. She scheduled her business around her boys' schedule and she included the younger ones in her club. So now she was following her passion with her children and being an incredible role model to all of her sons. So, talking about this, including your kids in your business, that leads us to shift number 3, which is to just keep things simple. If you've been thinking of starting a business and you don't have one yet, I can all but guarantee that you're making it way harder than it needs to be. I mean, I can hear you already. I don't know what service to offer or what product to sell. Oh my God, selling. I can't sell. And what about insurance and lawyers and logos and marketing? And what if I get it wrong? What if I jeopardize my family? And how could I ever start a business and be a mom and take care of my health and cook and do all the things I already barely have time for? Are you kidding me? I mean, come on. How in the world do you find the time for all that? I guess I better just go find a job after all. I hear you. And maybe at a deeper level, what you're saying is that you're afraid that starting a business is going to make you a bad mom because maybe you're already struggling to keep it together the way things are now. And I'm here to tell you that it's not that hard. My clients and I, we don't have any sort of magical powers that you don't have access to. So take a deep breath and hear me out. Because there are ways that you can start a business and still be a wonderful mom. So here's one way that you can do just that. Start a business where you can multitask. I mean, moms are masters at multitasking, aren't we? We feed the baby while we're on the computer, or we have a conference call while we're watching soccer practice. So a children's run club allows you to cross off 3 major to-dos in one shot. You're going to make money, you're going to work on your fitness, you're going to involve your own kids and get them active, and you're going to have a sense of purpose that goes beyond your family by truly impacting your community. Actually, impacting your community, that makes 4, but who's counting? But I get it, because I was scared too. And so are 99.9% of my clients. like Sarah in Maryland. So Sarah was furloughed from her job in the hospitality industry and spending time at home with her three kids. I think they're all under 9. During the lockdown, she realized that she was missing a whole lot of kid life, the laughter, the silliness, and even the tantrums. And she always wanted to start her own business, but she never thought that she could because life was crazy enough as it were. So she joined our program in early May, and she told me she was giving herself 2 years to quit her job of 18 years. In 2 years, I was like, no, 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 no. 2 years is so much life that's going to be missed with your kids. And so we negotiated, and she finally relented and set a goal for 18 months. Now get this. By early June, Sarah launched her children's run club business. That's 4 weeks after she started. And that's kind of rather normal in our world. By July, when she was called back to work, Sarah had enough confidence in where she was going that she was able to quit her job. So, not in the 18 months that she thought it would take, but in 8 weeks that she was with us. And now comes the best part. By August, Sarah's fall program was booked solid with a waiting list. Her business had 5 figures in the bank while she was working with over 100 children. So that's 12 weeks from zero to pinching herself because she thought the success was all a dream. And what Sarah's story shows you, it's not only that it's possible, but that it's totally doable and it's easier than you think to start a profitable business. Once she had the exact blueprint to follow so that she could create her children's run club, Sarah made back her investment and was profitable within 3 months. All this while spending time with her kids, working on her fitness, and making a huge contribution to her community. Now, you could say, yeah, but that was summer. What about winter? What about COVID? Well, we've been here long enough to have strategies for all of that. And our moms, they're not just still standing, they are thriving. Right now, we've seen a huge increase in demand because parents are looking for activities that are safe and healthy for their kids to participate in. Running is not a contact sport, and all of our games can be played safely while social distancing. So we've got this covered. Okay, now we're halfway through the shifts, so let me just take a second here to recap. First, we talked about giving yourself permission to take risks and to follow your dreams, and how you're a badass risk taker every single day of your life. You just do it so naturally, you don't even think about it. One day, you're going to feel this way about your business too. Second, I told you how to shift from hiding behind your kids to having them be the reason why you do things. That hiding behind them just leads to a cycle of resentment and guilt, and that kind of sucks. And the third shift is that starting a children's fitness business doesn't have to be complicated. And in fact, it can give you significant results super fast. Which brings me to the next point, shift number 4. Phony is a 4-letter word. And I know it's not. I can count. But it's just as bad as any of the popular 4-letter words because if you feel like a phony, you're never going to be successful because you're never going to be aligned with your goal. Here's what I mean. If you want to be paid well, you need to do whatever it is that you're going to do well. Otherwise, you're just a fraud. So if you have a crappy product or service, people might enroll once, but they ain't doing it again. You also aren't going to be successful because you're going to be out of alignment. I mean, how great does it feel to be out there pushing a crappy service knowing that your customers aren't going to get the value? And in our case, we work with and you're here because of children, and any child deserves the very best that we have. So sometimes a mom will rationalize, well, I'm not a teacher or a runner or a businesswoman. My business won't succeed because I'm a phony. And this is so common, there's even a name for it. It's called the imposter syndrome. Man, does it show its ugly head when moms are trying to leave their comfort zone. You think that you can't make good money because you're not an expert. And here's the news flash. You don't have to be an expert. You just have to have one in your corner. Now, we spend a lot of time working with our clients on their imposter syndrome, which is a lot of mindset work, but it's also something that's more fundamental. That's the service that you offer. Because you cannot charge for a crap service, as we saw before, right? So you need to make sure that what you provide is a solution. It's what parents want for their kids. It's health and character. Our clients learn how to implement our growth mindset curriculum when they start their children's run clubs. The curriculum is our passion, it's our heart and soul. It moves kids from a fixed to a growth mindset. So we teach kids about positive thinking, how to lose, because nowadays everyone gets a medal just for being cute. We show them that losing sucks, because it does, and kids are not stupid. But losing is not failure. It just tells us where we need to improve, that we're not there yet. And how when we stop fearing losing, then we can shoot for bigger goals. And when we have big goals that aren't reached overnight, we need to develop grit and resilience. We talk about competition, about teamwork, integrity, and we empower our kids through these running games and drills. And it works. Period. End of story. Over the years, we've worked with over 1,000 children. We've taught this program to homeless kids as we've done to private school kids. In the north where it snows, and the south where it's hot as hell. East Coast, West Coast, and in between. We've done it in rural areas in Idaho, in urban centers like Chicago, and it works. There's no doubt that when a child enrolls in our program, they will benefit enormously, both physically and mentally. And I could give you case studies of children I've personally worked with on this, because I've worked with hundreds of them, but it would take forever. So just know this. I'm not the only one who sees the difference in the kids that participate. I hear from other coaches, from parents, from teachers, and even school administrators. Our best metric is that across the country, about 50% of children re-enroll in classes. And so we make sure that our moms know this curriculum inside out, backwards, and upside down, so that they can go out there and charge what their business is worth, because they're implementing a curriculum that's tried, it's true, it's tested, and they've received all the training they need to bring this curriculum to their community. But if you don't have that, you're not in alignment. And then the imposter syndrome kicks in. If you don't have a passion for your business and the knowledge to implement that passion, whatever it is that you're going to do, it's going to be really hard to start, because you're going to feel like a fraud. And it's going to be even harder to be successful, because you're going to be a fraud. But once you know that what you're offering is important and has quality, and you feel confident that you're well trained, well, now it's time to shine, which brings us to shift number 5. Value your own worth. So whether we like it or not, women are paid less than men for an equivalent job. Generation after generation of this has caused many of us, especially moms, to not value ourselves and our time. So let's check in with the typical options mom have to make income. Are you really going to get a part-time job in the morning so that you can be with your kids after school? Yeah, good luck with being paid well for that. Chances are that you're not going to be paid what you're worth, and because you're smart and educated, you're going to take the work home with you, and then you'll be paid even less than the minimum wage. Then there are MLMs. Do you think you're going to be making money with that MLM? I don't know a nice way to say this, but you're not. I know that you love your supplement and your makeup and your vitamins or whatnot, but you're not going to be making a consistent, significant income off it. Don't get me wrong. Someone is making money, but it's not going to be the newbie that just joined. Then we have work from home. Well, let me know if you find a legitimate opportunity with that one. And a franchise? If you have tens of thousands to invest and years to wait for the profit, then a franchise could be a great option. But for those first few years, the ones who are going to be making money are the lawyers who draw out the contracts, and the franchisor to whom you're going to be paying royalties for as long as your business exists. But it's going to take years for you to get your investment back. And finally, the nail in the coffin, a full-time job. And sure, that seems stable, but let's be honest, that if you are working full-time and things were going great, we wouldn't be having this conversation in the first place. So is that what you really want? Or are you finally willing to make an investment so that you can start your own business? That's the question my client Christy was wrestling with when we met. She was a PE teacher in New Jersey and she loved working with children, but she was paid very poorly. And not only that, each year she had less and less flexibility on how to teach the kids, which is a common complaint amongst teachers today. So, where before she negotiated bad pay for a job she was passionate about, now she was getting neither. And sometimes her classes were as big as 25 kids, and some days she had to teach up to 6 classes. So by the time that she got home to her own 2 little kids, she was exhausted. But she was afraid of the investment. So I walked her through the numbers, and I promise you I'm not making these up. After 11 years of teaching, Christy was making $25 per hour, which might sound like a good salary for some of you. And she often had 25 kids in each class. So in truth, she was being paid $1 for every kid in her class. And if she was teaching 6 classes, she was making $150 that day. Now, she was afraid of changing because she thought, what could she possibly do that she loves so much that would pay any better? Well, let me fast forward this for you. By the time Christy finished her time with us, so in 8 weeks, Christy had 28 children enrolled in her part-time summer program, which she divided into 2 separate groups. So let's do some math. Christy charged $10 per kid per class. It's actually more because she was in New Jersey, but across the country, we've seen that the average that parents pay is $10. So 14 kids that each was paying $10 to be in that class is $140. And that compares to $25 for teaching almost twice the number of kids. Now, remember that she had 28 kids, so she actually made over $280 per day, working only 2 hours with 28 kids, compared to $150 for working 6 hours with up to 150 kids. So not only is Christy making 6 times what she was making as a teacher, she's working less hours and she gets to choose how to lead her class. She gets to choose where to teach, what ages to focus on, and most importantly, she's using our growth mindset curriculum, which is what she wanted to do in school but couldn't because she had to teach to the state standards. Now, I'm not making this up. You can go to our Facebook group and watch my interview with Christy and with many of our other moms. It's not magic, it's math. Was it worth investing? You bet. And you can get there too, but it's not free, which is what our last shift is about, which is invest in mentorship. You could technically start a children's run club on your own, and you could study and become a growth mindset expert and design a curriculum and go out there and coach. I mean, I did that when I started, but it took a lot of time to get our curriculum and our methodology to where it is today, where we know without a shadow of a doubt that it works. Now, I made many mistakes and I banged my head against the wall quite often because I didn't have a model to follow. I had to figure it out on my own. And I did invest in mentorship. In fact, I've invested over $50,000 between business coaches and mindset coaches and social media mentors. And every time that I spent money, it was a big deal and it was a huge decision for me. I mean, I was scrapping by for a while. But each time, no matter how broke I was, it was the best decision because that's what allowed me to get to the next level faster. They couldn't help me with the curriculum, but they could help me with everything else. So if you want to start a business, regardless of what business it is, don't go at it alone because in the end, it's going to save you a lot of time, energy, tears, and money because you won't be making the same mistakes that someone else made. So find the best mentor out there for you. And I'm not saying that that person has to be me, but find whoever's the best fit for you and spend the money that it takes to work with that person because I promise you that that investment is going to pay off in spades. Now, I've heard some moms say, we can't invest now with the uncertainty of the pandemic and winter is coming. That's crazy. And I tell you, it's exactly the opposite. Crazy is not investing in a mentor and taking the opportunity that's right here in front of us. The opportunity to finally start a business that brings you the income while you're working on your health, while you're involving your kids in your kids' health and having a huge impact in your community. So that was the last of the 6 shifts that my clients have made in order to run successful children's fitness businesses. And I want to take a moment here and recap them so that all of this information we've been talking about comes together nicely for you. Because each of these shifts are things that I have seen moms get stumped on when they go and start their business. So if you know about this up front, when you finally do decide to go for it, and whatever it is, and it might be a children's fitness business or something else, it doesn't matter. But whenever you do decide to finally go for it, you're going to be empowered to make the choices that are best for you and your family. So the first shift we talked about was to reframe risk, and that since we take risk every day doing everything, what you need to do, the conversation with moms tends to be more about giving yourself permission to follow your passion and to invest in your dream than it is to accept a risk of investing in something. And the reason why the conversation is about permission is because the consequence of not following your purpose is really to hurt the people that you love the most and you're trying to protect from that risk in the first place. And so, because you are not following your passion, then you resent your family and your kids, then you feel guilty about that. So then you don't follow your passion and then you resent them again. And it's just like this cycle that we get stuck in. The way that you get out of that cycle is in part by understanding that life is intrinsically risky and you handle those risks like a boss, every day, and you will do the same in your business. The second shift, the other main reason moms don't start their businesses is that they think that they can't, that you can't be a good mom and be successful. Starting a business will automatically mean that you're not going to be as good a mom to your kids. And so you see your kids, you hide behind them. So what we're asking you to do in this shift to stop seeing your kids as what blocks you in your path and instead look at them as your biggest why. Have them be little propellers of why you move forward. If you want your kids to be brave and strong and follow their dreams, then you've got to be that role model for them. Shift number 3 was about simplifying. And it also talks about that thought that we can't do everything. We're overwhelmed that it is. We don't have time for anything. And how are we going to add starting a business on top of all of that? And you, as a mom, life is busy and life is sometimes overwhelming. So the idea here is to create a business that ticks off multiple things on your to-do list. So you earn income while getting healthy, while getting your kids active, while impacting your community, so that you are hitting multiple things at once. The fourth shift has to do with our imposter syndrome, that sometimes moms don't start their businesses because they feel they don't know enough, that they're not experts or that they're not business people or teachers. The shift is that understanding that if you provide a quality product or service, then you won't have to fight that imposter syndrome. So you don't need to be an expert. You just need to have an expert in your corner. Shift number 5 was about knowing that your time and your effort, all of that has value and that it's okay for you to charge what you're worth, right? Traditional job opportunities for moms, they oftentimes put us in a bind. You're not going to make the money that you need from that. And if you have young kids, a lot of your paycheck is going to go straight to daycare. So when you start your business and you're able to charge what you are worth and be able to make significant income out of that. And then the last and the final shift is about not going about it alone, right? Investing in mentorship. You can do this by yourself, but the truth is that you'll probably be repeating mistakes that someone else has made, or you're going to be getting stuck on challenges that we already figured it out. So in the end, by investing in mentorship, you're going to save time, you're going to save energy, and most importantly, money, because you're going to get where you want to go faster. So those are the shifts that we have seen. Those are the things that I've seen that stops moms from starting their businesses. And those are the shifts that our clients have made in order to be able to run those successful businesses. And now you have a choice. You can take the information I gave you, or you can forget all about it. You can give yourself permission to invest in yourself and in your dream, or you can stay right where you are. Demand for programs like ours is exploding as parents are searching for healthy and safe activities for the kids. And kids need the growth mindset to frame their current experiences now more than ever. They need to have that grit and the resilience to come out on the other side of this pandemic. You have the opportunity to reach them, and you can take it or you can leave it. So if you want to take advantage of this opportunity and earn income and get healthy and get your own kids active and impact your community, then this is what I can do for you. I've set aside some time over the next 48 hours to talk to you personally about how you can apply these ideas to your life starting today. We have moms from across the country in our program, and I've spoken to hundreds of moms over the past years. So whatever your biggest fears and challenges are, chances are we've probably already seen them, and I know how to overcome them. This is not going to be your run-of-the-mill discovery call. In this session, we're going to dive deep into discovering what your goals are, and most importantly, what's stopping you from reaching them. So I'm going to be listening not just for what you're saying, but for what's hidden behind those words. On that call, we're going to talk in great detail about your vision, because without one, you're going to run out of energy and willpower, and we're going to flesh it out. We're going to make it visceral. And if I can get you to that vision, then I'm going to show you exactly how we do it. But if I can't, I'm going to be super honest, because I don't work with anyone that I'm not 100% sure I can help. Now, we're really good at helping moms start a profitable children's fitness business, but it's not for everyone. So who this is for? Well, you must love working with children. You must want to use fitness and running and growth mindset as a tool to empower both yourself and your community. And you must be willing to ask for help along the way. So if that's you, book a session now. And I forgot to mention that session, it's absolutely free. So you might be thinking, why would she do all of that for free? Well, I've worked with hundreds of kids, and I've seen our program be implemented with over 1,000 children, and I know that it works. With every cell of my body, I know that it works in moving kids from a fixed to a growth mindset, which is what children need in order to be empowered and to be resilient. So I'm committed to bringing this program to as many kids as possible. And the way that I can reach my goal is by supporting moms like you who want to start a business, who want to bring this to their own children and to their community. So my commitment to you is absolute, because without your success, I'm not successful either. And you can ask my clients, I'm rather obsessive about this whole thing. So if you would like to talk, here is the link, dsrunclub.com/apply. Find a time that works for you. And I apologize beforehand if you don't find a convenient time. Our spaces are very limited, but our schedule does open up every day. Once you book a call, you're going to be taken to a questionnaire. Please take the time to fill it out, because that will help me prepare for our time together. And then you're going to be receiving a couple of emails from me, and it will include a video about how our program works and what we actually teach you. And the reason I do that is so that you have all the information up front, and that call, we can focus on you and your purpose and what is stopping you from living in it. So please make sure you watch those videos as well. So if this sounds like something you're ready for, then make sure you pick a time that works for you and we'll talk. This is it. This is the moment of truth. Are you actually ready as you say you are? I hope so, because there's nothing subtle about the change that's coming your way. It's time. I'll talk to you soon.